It is very much an S-tier spirit.
That's nice.
Hey, now we were liking when Enigma was saying, remember the Mist comment? Remember what they said about Mist?
Yes.
Go back to the good. Go back to the good.
Welcome to the Kindred Spirit Podcast, a show all about the board game Spirit Island. Here we'll talk about analytics and strategies within the game, as well as a plethora of other topics that can be found within it. Today we're going to go over all the data from your votes from our France survey, and we're going to look at your comments about them as well.
This one's going to be interesting.
It's going to be great. The time for reminiscing about our game is over.
What a fun game, though.
Time to get to the data.
We didn't say any of this in French.
Whatever.
Put the service to the test.
Alright, let's get right to it. We got a top 5, a bottom 5, and some honorable mentions, and they are pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go ahead and look at what you all had to say. So, looking at the bottom 5, in 5th place, the worst of the bottom 5, which is to say the best spirit of all of these in this category.
There you go.
The one that will be the most successful in this bottom 5, apparently. 30% of all of you think that base shadows is the one that deserves this place.
So, Ryan, I was texting you because I think I've been a bit grumpy about shadows and them just getting this just dogged on.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm trying to beat shadows on the digital game against France, and I was losing a lot, but I won.
You won. Nice.
With River. River helped.
Nice.
Okay. River helped out, but it can be done. I will say this. Like we described, foreboding helps, but shadows, I think it can be done.
Yeah. So, in what way does base shadows struggle against France?
You can gather one explorer, and they usually send out 2 with their nades.
Not so great.
It's like, I can gather 1. I'm still here.
Oh, yeah. The extra fear from Favors Called Due is still technically possible, but it's going to be a lot less easy to trigger.
Right.
And then not being able to do much with the town with control that you downgraded from Crops Wither and Fade.
Yeah.
Not so great. So,
with pairing, you can
sure. With help, it can be just fine.
It can be
with
done.
an adrenal shot of foreboding, it can be just fine.
Just fine.
Right. But that special is
useless.
not great.
Not useless. It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So, moving on to 4th place. 34% of people voted for Mist.
Don't agree with this one.
I actually kind of disagree with this one. Your ability to shove multiple explorers and kill multiple explorers will be very nice. In the same way that against Sweden, Mist's ability to ignore damaged invaders was really nice.
Yeah.
Here, it will be really nice. You will have no problem getting to where you need to go.
I think sometimes gut reaction with maybe these polls or voting is like Mist wants to keep buildings alive to milk for fear, but you need to destroy buildings against France.
Right.
So there's like that, Mist must be bad, but if you actually look at the spirit longer...
Oh, it's easy to kill all the bad guys in problem lands and keep another bad guy alive in a land that's not being involved in right now.
Or just keep cities alive. At least not, just don't worry about, keep them off the coast.
It's not that I wholesale disagree, but, I mean, I almost played as Mist.
You did.
Because I was like, I think it can work.
I think it would have worked.
Lost in the Swirling Haze can shove not just one explorer, it can shove multiple. So...
Shadows is crying. I can only do 1.
And then you have so many damage to each invader things.
Yep.
And Fog Closes In and Suffocating Shroud. And heck, even Dissolving Vapors are just going to go ham. Seriously, on all those bonus explorers that they have.
I'm surprised Mist made it to 4.
I'm not saying it's going to be a crazy easy matchup.
Not as hard?
I could think of other people that I personally believe would be maybe worth 4th place over Mist. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
You're biased, but so am I.
Anyway, moving on to 3rd place for the bottom 5 at 41% of all the votes.
Yes.
Comes in Base Earth. Again, Base Earth has been showing up a lot. They took number 1 with Sweden. They took number 2 against Brandenburg. They took number 2 against Habsburg, and they took number 3 in Russia. Poor Base Earth has been in the bottom 5 for every single adversary so far.
Should we go over Shadows too? All right.
People mock Shadows a lot, but Base Earth has shown up more times than Shadows has in the bottom 5.
True. We talked about in last episode, quickness helps. Speed
so
helps.
Much.
Base Earth isn't really known for that speed.
Right. And the fact that your damage comes from Dahan more than it does you, it's going to take time to go ahead and manipulate things. You can heal Blight. That's great. Although slow healing ecosystems like, never mind.
Just kidding.
Then your Perfect Stillness still great.
Very good. Stops builds.
Right. So why is that still here? Well, speed ain't so great, and you're going to have to go find some damage cards that are pretty high.
Yeah.
Now, I'm very curious for myself to see how the Might Earth, Draw the Fruitful Earth, Reclaim Vacuum combo would work, but of course that's no longer Base Earth doing that. But still, I think Draw the Fruitful Earth could be useful.
Might Earth, I think, would be fine.
But then again, they have so many explorers that Draw the Fruitful Earth won't be able to grab enough.
It can still grab 2.
Yeah.
And they send out 2.
They don't have to, do they?
They send out, usually there's more than 2, but...
Right. Anyway, poor Base Earth. Think it just takes a little bit too long to get going against an adversary that needs a little bit more damage at that early game. So
this next one, is this their first appearance?
This would be their second appearance.
Oh.
But don't worry, that's both a pro and a con. Pro is that they haven't been on here as often as Base Earth has. Con is, well, they're here again. So
here we go again.
In second place, though, the con, though, is that they've never been this high. In second place with 46%.
Nearly half the votes.
Of all the votes. Finder of Paths Unseen.
Ouch, poor baby.
Yeah, not being able to kill towns and shuffle them around exclusively ain't so great.
Has isolation powers.
Which is great.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Those are random, or they're like luck of the draw.
Right.
You don't always know where France is going.
Trigger your isolations always as consistently as you would like to, because they require elements that you may or may not be hitting this turn. So
good point. Shuffling invaders around, they're still
was
there.
Fantastic.
But we also had damage and fear.
Mm-hmm.
Finder does not have damage or fear. So, wait a second. 1 + 2 - 3.
Right. The triangle of success, I have one of them. I have one of the points.
Control is good, but if they're just staying there continually,
anything
that's
else
tough.
there?
You can't just keep shuffling the deck, Yeah,
no. That's a pretty simple one. Pretty simple and easy to understand. And then we have our number 1 for the bottom 5, the worst spirit. With 68% of all the votes. If you notice, the other bottom 5 was 30%, 34, 41, 46. Okay, that's all in the same general ballpark. 68. Okay. We're pushing low 70s here. Comes in Bringer of Dreams and Nightmares. Oh, hey, I can't kill anyone.
Another, they can do damage, quote unquote.
Right.
But it's not leaving the board.
The book was right. Not being able to kill anything kind of sucks.
So who is Nightmare good against? Question?
Well, let's see. Moving on.
They're situational spirit.
I don't think Nightmare has ever made the top 5.
They are so focused on fear. Sometimes
they're so committed.
That's not always a good thing.
It's true. Yeah, they never have. They've never made it into the top 5. Once we're done with this adversary series, it'd be fun to look back at all the various people who did make it, who didn't make it, how many times certain people did this
and at what ranking they made it.
And at what ranking. Yeah, kind of fun.
That would be very interesting, I would think.
So yeah, Nightmare. Yeah.
I just don't see you getting a fear victory, or I think it'd be very difficult.
Well, here's the thing. Once again, Finder covered 1 point of that triangle. Bringer covers the fear and covers some of the control. But Foreboding Shadows did each of those a lot better with also access to damage.
Right.
Finder didn't have damage, and Finder will stall their damage until the end, which requires you to have a lucky card draw. And in Nightmare's case, you just can never do damage, so don't
Hopefully
bother with that one. So
Dahan
go
defense?
Fear? Yeah. Not a fan. Then, defend per fear you did. Could be nice, could be great. Problem is, they have 6 lands that have over 5 invaders. Oh, wait, we just lost. Oh,
that was quick.
Okay.
Anyway, that's your bottom 5.
That's right. So, some honorable mentions here. At 21% of all the votes, spread of rampant green.
They're only in the honorable mentions?
Yeah.
I thought they'd be higher.
Hey.
Build prevention.
The honorable mention and top 5 percentages were actually pretty tight.
Okay.
21%, 22%, 24%, 26%, 28%, 30%.
Okay.
These are all very close.
Very close.
So 21%, when keeping in mind how close all the other ones were, is actually very close. So green being able to stop builds and having access to moving towns and fear generation is probably carrying them a lot.
Yeah.
Prevention, always good. Prevention on high difficulties is always better than defense. Mm-hmm. And look, they have prevention in spades.
And defense.
And defense. But prevention, though.
Yeah, back to prevention.
But town manipulation.
And can destroy towns. I know not as many or take some time, but you still are able to do it. It's looking at you, Bringer.
Mm-hmm. If you can get a combo of stem the flow of fresh water as well in tandem with a high level of creepers tearing the mortar, you can destroy so many towns.
Yeah.
And against France, that would be great.
Huge potential there.
Remember how we were talking about the wildfire green combo of busting 3 towns over the span of 3 different lands?
Sure.
Here, that would be fantastic. Of course, getting rid of explorers ain't so great. The way I usually get rid of explorers, as I've stated in the past, is prevent the build that a lone explorer will do. Get a Dahan in there. By the time it's Ravage time, the Dahan is alone with an explorer. They kill him.
They take care of the explorer.
Right. That doesn't really work on 3v1s. On 1v1s, it's fine.
Exactly. But if they're just shooting out so many explorers.
Not so great. So that makes sense to me. I really feel as if Green's battle will be trying to find an explorer killing card like Steam Vents or something to quick kill explorers or quick move explorers or something. I think the explorers might be, ironically, your trouble here.
Yeah.
Moving on up to the best of the honorable mentions, we have a tie with 22%, 1% better.
Higher. This was neck and neck.
When it came to the votes, it was literally 1 vote different, more than green. And that is Keeper of the Forbidden Wilds and Travel River.
Keeper out of the top 5. They got shipped with this adversary.
Yeah, right.
What is happening?
So, luckily for Keeper, those Wilds tokens will really help.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
Stop it at the source.
And your capability to do really good damage against towns, really nice.
Huge.
So, you have a high damage potential with a counterattacking defender who can prevent explorers.
Like you said, prevention
is
is
a good
huge.
kit.
Yeah.
That's a good kit.
They didn't make the top 5.
They didn't make the top 5.
No, but this is where I said this is surprising, interesting.
It's solid.
Yeah.
It's solid
but
what Keeper can do.
How this all shook up is very interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Keeper is like S+ tier.
Yep.
Everyone's saying they are broken.
Right. And we actually have a lot of ties here.
Oh,
in the top 5 and honorable mentions.
What about Travel River? What do you think?
Travel River. I was about to ask you the same question.
River is very good. Something about having the dedicated sacred sites and easy sacred sites of base River sometimes does nudge it a little bit further than Travel. You do have to have those Dahan to make it sacred site. Obviously, you can make 2 presents to make it sacred site, but you still want to have that traveling river, so you want to be spread out. So
being able to shuttle bad guys in your super highway of sadness, I think is really nice. Get them to the coast, hit them hard in the coast. That's really nice.
Sometimes, depending on Dahan, ain't always the best in my Travel River games. I know you can make more and sprout more. I don't know. I do think base is a little bit stronger here. Maybe at different adversaries, it'll change things, but having those dedicated wetland sacred sites is very useful, I think.
Right on. Now, let us go and broach the top 5. At 24% of all the votes, Heart of the Wildfire.
I see it.
I'm very happy.
Fast damage?
Yes, to see our little firebrand here.
Fast control, too, where you can push things out of you. Yeah.
Damage, fast control.
And fear.
And fear. This is a character that has access to each of those things. Totally makes sense. Being able to kill any bad guys before they are a problem is fantastic. You can go ahead and do 4 damage damage in the growth phase, and then do a firestorm immediately. Let's do 3 or 4 more.
Burn whatever's left.
Right. So the capability to
or split up your damage. I always like doing that. Or I like when you would do that.
I love splitting up Firestorm to do damage in multiple lands. And here, it's really nice. They double explode.
Yeah.
Okay, died. Oh no, triple explode. Dead.
Split up your damage, burn someone else.
Right. If they really get going in the late game when there's a ton of people, and destroy all invaders.
Bye.
Yeah. Really nice ace to have up your sleeve.
Again, a fast-moving spirit with fast damage. This makes complete sense.
And, they don't really do a whole lot with the Blight except for the slow healing ecosystem. So, as far as you are concerned, you might Blight, but with Wildfire...
You can heal Blight.
You can heal
You might just Blight the island, whatever.
Right, but the thing is against France, at least at level 5 higher, you had a high chance of blighting anyway. So it just escalates the game state.
Embrace the madness.
Right.
just accept it.
Hit the fast forward button and win. I totally see Wildfire. Going up into 4th place, we have a tie with 26% of all the votes. Base Lightning and Lure.
Ooh!
Believe it or not, I actually didn't think Lure would do so great in this poll.
People be loving Lure.
But Lightning, them first.
Okay.
Yes, the book did say that Poppin' Towns is great, and it's true.
That's what Lightning does.
Base Lightning is the most damaging of all the Lightnings.
Yeah.
Slight argument for Immense Lightning here, I'll grant, depending on what you find.
Depending on what you pull in the major power deck.
Yep. So to all the people that wanted to riot with your pitchforks and your torches because Immense Lightning didn't get mentioned, hey, I'll throw you that bone.
You should have voted for Immense Lightning.
Is who
I'm looking
made
at
the
you,
top...
listener. You didn't vote for them.
Base Lightning is who made the top 5, and being able to just shatter homesteads, thundering destruction, just pop these towns over and over and over again. They keep showing up like weeds, you keep cutting them down like weeds. It's great. Just revolving doors of towns coming on the board and leaving the board.
It's funny these two end up together. A little while back, I had a game against France. I was playing Base Lightning, and then Tim, shout out to Tim, who's on this episode, was playing Lure. Making Lure fast?
Yeah.
Insane.
Right on.
Gathering all those people?
Seriously. When Lure can get their control capabilities upgraded to the fast speed, it looks a lot better. Hey, Base Lightning can do that.
And Base Lightning, I think that's why they're so good, because they can make other people fast. Being fast against France
was really
changed
nice.
The game.
In Lure's case, the fact that they have so many towns could be an issue.
You just gotta break them down fast. Hopefully.
So the coastal city thing might hurt.
Yeah.
Because, hey, guess where your starting city is? The coast. Luckily, you can break things down.
It takes time to get to that city breaking down, though.
True, but when you're breaking bad guys down, they're breaking into explorers, which might turn into towns again. So you might
That's true.
actually get more towns depending on how much you did it.
You only ignore them during the Ravage, not the build.
Not the build, so that's still happening here.
And Lure is pretty slow.
Yeah.
Both innates and 3 of the starting cards are slow.
They can get their token factory of sadness out there, and once they do, they can do some pretty decent damage.
Of course.
They do have access to Badlands, which is nice. They can get out both disease and they can get wild tokens,
is huge.
Which is really nice. I think that would probably be the most important thing. Like you said, ignoring explorers, who cares? Who gives a flying frick?
No, watch your tone.
That does nothing.
I am also a little surprised to see them this high. I know they can break them down, and like we've stated, they can destroy explorers for fear. Always huge. But them being a slower spirit, it would make me a little bit nervous. I thought they were
going to be middle of the pack.
Yeah, I think it can be done, but
I think their reputation is carrying them a little bit here.
That's true.
But whatever, that's just my personal opinion. Moving on to our bronze medalists. Plural. We have yet another tie.
Another tie.
At 28%. We have Thunderspeaker and Foreboding Shadow.
What?
That's right.
Shadows?
Foreboding Shadows, baby!
And this vote happened before our last episode.
Yeah.
So people are already just playing Foreboding without even us touting them yet.
Right. Base Shadows was in the bottom 5. Foreboding Shadows, top 5.
It's amazing what one additional Nate can do.
Right.
And people are seeing it.
Seriously.
Thank you, listeners. I'm happy you're playing them.
There's 35 spirits represented in our survey here. And look, top
3.
5, bottom 5.
Yeah.
They made them both.
That's so interesting.
What a difference that makes.
Yeah.
Seriously. Seriously.
What do you think about Thunder Speaker? Just Thunder Speaker being Thunder Speaker?
That's the other town popper.
Okay.
Thunder Speaker being Thunder Speaker.
And with Sudden Ambush, you can gather Dahan, and then each Dahan destroys an explorer. So if you have a lot of Dahan in a land, you can wipe out 4 explorers.
Yep.
That's huge.
Your
and
damage is really good. If they ever did get all of those buildings out there, well, at least you can just go and be like, Manifestation, Power, and Glory. Here's 40 damage, and you're dead. So I got that covered.
Yeah, Thunder Speaker's really good.
I'm not sure if you picked up on this, but Thunder Speaker's really freaking good.
But Foreboding Shadows, I'm
I
so
know,
happy.
Yes, me too. Beat out Travel River and Lure.
Yeah.
Go for it. I got my big foam finger and my flag for Foreboding Shadows. Yes, get up, buddy. Because I just played a game with Foreboding Shadows.
It worked out.
Went ham.
It worked out.
It worked out great. Beat out Keeper.
When have you ever seen Shadows above Keeper in a list?
Beat out Green.
Yeah. Anyway, that's
good
cool.
stuff.
That's
I'm
cool.
proud of you. I'm happy for you, Shadows.
Me too.
Genuinely. Our silver medalists now at 31%. Yet another tie. Grinning Trickster stirs up trouble. And Sharp Fangs behind the lead. Yeah, buddy. There they are. Sharp Fangs, Foreboding Shadows. They made the top 5.
That's so cool.
And we picked our peeps before all of you did.
Yeah, before
so
the vote.
I'm very glad to see that you all think so as well. In Trickster's case, oh goodness.
Here's a hot take. I don't see it.
Really?
You're dumb at this game, Jeff.
Bro,
because
it's
of Strife?
Strife.
Because of Slave Rebellion?
Yep.
That card happens twice, maybe 3 times.
Yeah, but you can Strife so many people with it. If a stage 3 rebellion does happen, bad guys will take damage for the Strife that they have. So if you have Strife on so many bad guys,
which Trickster can do,
you can hurt so many bad guys.
But you have to get to that point. Sometimes you can lose really quickly against Franz. I know you have Overenthusiastic Arson, and that can destroy towns, but that can also blight. So
yeah, but guess what's also not blighting? All the peeps that you've Strifed.
That's true.
Your capacity to blight is just as good as your capacity to heal it, kind of.
Well, because you don't heal them. Like,
you don't know.
You don't care. I love Trickster. I don't know. I see Sweden 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
This one, I feel like I would be worried to get to that stage 3 Slave Rebellion. I would just hope I can get there.
Yeah, I think people may have been thinking about Slave Rebellion and enhancing it with Strife. I think that's really cool, and I think it has some power.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Silver Medalist power.
Because a lot of Trickster's game
I'll just be honest.
It is a random spirit, so who knows what's going to happen with Let's See What Happens.
I am very happy to see them this high, though.
That is cool.
Very happy
because they're often not regarded this high.
For a while in the votes, Fangs was beating Trickster, and Trickster was in 3rd place.
Yeah.
At the very, very end, a few more votes came in, and Trickster tied it.
I gotcha.
Fangs.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
undisputed.
Just listen to episode 36.
Yeah.
There you go.
Seriously. No, we touched on it. I know it became like a Foreboding Fangs analysis episode. But
that's fine because they neutered France so hard.
It was incredible.
It was great. So if this happens to be your first episode, go ahead. Listen to episode 36 and you'll hear us talk about why Foreboding Shadows and Fangs are so really good against France. And now, our gold medalist. Thankfully, it's not tied, so we have one deserving spirit who gets to have the top of the podium all to themselves with 45% of all the votes. Not the biggest win margin, but still pretty good.
Yeah.
Comes in Base River.
All right.
Yet again, Base River graces us with their presence on the top 5.
So everyone's thinking of massive flooding and 2 damage to each invader. So that's huge. Obviously, tons of control with River. It is slow control, so hopefully you're able to move things around before it builds up.
Right.
If things build on the coast, you can do more damage on the coast, which is good for River. So yeah, I see it being this high. Do you have any qualms against Base River being this high?
I have no qualms in any way, shape, or form.
I liked fast control and fast damage, which like Foreboding and Fangs had.
Right.
River's a little bit slower, but
with the control, yeah. You can shove people in the slow phase.
Yeah.
Very consistently.
Which ends up being like a turn ahead. That can be a fast phase. You're just,
Right. So take that one hit early game, and then now you can just do that slow push for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and that becomes your fast. So, yeah, Base River, and then just unlock your highest level innate and just do 2 damage to everyone, and you're never really worried about towns.
This is the 4th time that Base River has appeared on the top 5.
4 out of 5.
Yet, this is the first time they've ever placed so high.
They are a strong spirit.
First place. They've only ever gotten to 4th place.
Okay. They've always been a good spirit, but yeah,
Sure.
now they are the best
Consistent control
Mhm.
and heavy hitting attacks
Yeah.
are really, really good.
especially against France.
Personally speaking, I don't think they deserve gold medalists.
Oh!
I think they deserve maybe bronze or silver.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't think Trickster was gonna get this high.
I didn't think so either.
I thought River would have had that high.
You thought Fangs.
I really thought Fangs could have done it. And for a while, Fangs was. And
Fangs
that's
wasn't
totally
first.
fine.
Yeah,
this
Fangs
is totally fine.
wasn't
This is
first
just
place.
my opinion. Because here's the thing. I don't see Base River throttling every single adversary effect that France did. And yet I just did a game where Fangs was ruthless.
Yeah.
And throttled everything France did. And it was just unfair. I don't see River doing that.
No, Fangs, damaging the fast. Build prevention, controlling the slow.
Right.
Boom.
Boom. Fear.
Fear,
More
too.
fear than River. More prevention than River.
River has no fear. Unless you're just destroying
Right.
towns.
And unequal damage.
Mm-hmm.
Their damage capability is better in the coast, but it's not as consistent because it's
true.
not going to be as good on the inlands. Still, that's fine. That is my hot take. I love River. I'm not trying to crap on anyone's River Parade. Enjoy your number 1 spot here on the top 5. It is well deserved. Massive flooding once again carrying River to ludicrous amounts of fame.
It's amazing. Just go bottom track.
2
hit that
damage
4-card
to
plays.
each invader.
Use your only have to use your starting hand. This
Right.
is another starting hand only type of spirit, and you can get by. It's incredible.
It's kind of crazy, but it's so strong. It's great.
Yeah, enjoy this now. Come back to me when England comes up, River.
So there you go. There's your top 5 honorable mention and bottom 5. Top 5. Wildfire, Base Lightning, Lure, Thunder Speaker, Foreboding Shadows, Trickster, Fangs, and Base River.
Nice.
Honorable mentions of Keeper and Travel River and Spread of Rampant Green. Also, Travel River was beaten by Base River again. How about that?
Oh.
Anyway. Bottom 5, Base Shadows, Mist, Base Earth, Finder, and Nightmare. Boy, we see Mist, Base Earth, and Base Shadows a lot in the bottom 5.
No, I don't think Mist should be there.
No.
And I also think an impossible game might be Finder and Nightmare together against France.
Let's do it.
That sounds like an impossible game.
Well, here, Finder and Mist, both of our babies, made it onto the bottom 5. Let's prove them wrong.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it. But not for a while, because we have other things we gotta get
Of course.
to. But
we have so much on our plate.
We have so much on our plate! Okay.
To the comments.
To the comments. The fun part. Here we go. Slim Charles,
Hey, Slim Charles is back.
comes back and says, France is an interesting adversary in that I don't find their higher level effects, levels 4, 5, and 6, too punishing themselves, but their lower level effects are what really trip me up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I have a singular definitive strategy, but there are a few things that I've learned to look out for. Spirits who can deal with towns, obviously, spirits who can handle multiple explorers, or prevent explorers altogether, and spirits who can mobilize Dahan in anticipation of the Slave Rebellion event. Here are some of the spirits I did well from my recent pre-Jagged Earth solo campaign.
Okay.
A Spread of Rampant Green. I won at level 5, and would have perhaps won at level 6 as well if it wasn't for a poorly timed farmer seek the Dawn for aid! Yes!
Preaching to the choir.
Ugh. Sorry.
Anyway.
Where was I? The main selling point for green is, of course, to simply stop the towns from being built in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
The higher levels of Creeper's Terror and Mortar can be great, especially alongside Stem the Flow of Fresh Water.
Whoa!
And green also has decent Dahan mobility in fields choked with growth. I love it when I'm in agreement with the people that comment.
You and Slim are on the same page there.
I know, man. It's
Little
great.
Slim.
Totally dig it. Sharp fangs behind the leaves.
Ooh.
Same with green, won at level 5, but didn't quite manage it at level 6. For me, fangs is all about converting your presence into beasts.
Wow.
And hitting ranging hunt every turn. And this can be effective against France's multiple explorers and against towns generally. Prey and the Builders can help out too, of course. And even Too Near the Jungle and Terrifying Chase are useful powers. The former if you can afford to pick off an explorer to prevent multiple towns next turn, the latter for a bit of Dahan movement. Oh my gosh.
Did you guys talk beforehand? You too?
Did you have a time machine? Did you have early interdimensional access to episode 36 before it aired? What the heck? Thunderspeaker. Perhaps unsurprisingly, I did win at level 6 with Thunderspeaker.
Makes sense.
They have the Dahan mobility, of course, alongside the superb manifestation of power and glory.
Broken power. Broken.
To simply wreck lands. My level 6 game actually gave me some fast Dahan movement in Call to Isolation and Enticing Splendor.
Great minor powers.
To make them even more effective. Notably, Sudden Ambush becomes a lot more effective versus France, as you can take out multiple explorers.
I said that!
Also, shout out to Lightning's overcosted Raging Storm power, which is also much better value versus France.
Can we play a game of Slim?
Charles is knocking both of our opinions out of the park. Both the Thunderspeaker, Sudden Ambush, and your Lightning General Raging Storm overcosted complaints.
Slim, do you want to play a game sometime?
Hey.
Want to meet up for coffee? Or?
Call me! Bringer and Wildfire both fell at level 5.
Oh no, Wildfire.
Whilst I failed quite miserably with other spirits, who I perhaps should have done better with, lost at level 3 with Oceans, River, and Keeper, among others.
Big spirits in those losses.
Especially Ocean. And that's where the difficulty levels I mentioned earlier show an interesting trend for me. If a spirit could get past level 3 of France, they generally go on and have a decent time.
Mm-hmm.
My high wins with Fangs and Green didn't even go to Blighted Island.
Same.
Nice.
Same with us.
Overall, I find them a fun challenge, with an interesting loss condition to keep an eye on, and don't have an excruciating time at higher difficulties. Haven't tried any Jagged Earth spirits with them yet, but I'd imagine that Trickster would have a fun time. Maybe Volcano and Lure, and perhaps Finder too? I don't know. I look forward to finding out.
I wonder if they did end up playing those games, because I think Volcano would be fun with that damage.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, that massive splash damage, it's like, boom!
Or if you're like doing those, how you like to play Volcano, those smaller
explosions, the controlled detonations, right?
But taking out explorers if you're doing that.
You know, that's a good point. The mobilizing Dahan in anticipation of the Slave Rebellion for Thunderspeaker, big. Because if you know if it's coming, you can be like, let's get them on in there.
Group up 6 people somewhere.
Right.
I did not think of that, probably because I never played Thunderspeaker. I am the worst with that spirit.
And Aid the Uprising, just as a reminder, the Dahan portion of the Slave Rebellion says invaders with Strife take 1 damage per Dahan present.
And you can add Strife with that event.
Then you add 1 Dahan per building this destroys.
Thunderspeaker.
And Thunderspeaker is in dire, lustful need of more Dahan.
Thunderspeaker only ended up 3rd?
Yeah. Well, that's really high.
That is
and
really high.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Because guess what? France, with this card, gives you a guaranteed, consistent method of getting Dahan out there. Mm-hmm. Getting additional Dahan, which natively Thunderspeaker doesn't have.
Yeah.
Great point. Also, your comments on them being a fun challenge with an interesting loss condition. May I adjust the word interesting to anxiety-inducing?
Poor choice of words there. Yeah.
No, interesting is fine, but interesting is one of those fun words in the English language.
It can mean so many things.
Interesting, unique, and special. They can mean good or bad.
Hey, my mom called me special.
Oh!
Anyway, Raylemo comes back.
Hey, welcome back.
I've been making my way through each adversary, true solo.
Hey.
Props to that. I cannot do that.
Yeah.
Ryan, you are much better than that. Back to Raylemo for the first time, and have been pairing it with a spirit I'm unfamiliar with.
Oh.
Good timing on this question. I just finished my first, and likely last. At least they're honest. Level 6 France. See, okay, time out. Sorry, Raylemo. I kind of had fun against France.
With our game, it was just
maybe we're playing the counter picks. I liked, like you said, the choice of the escalation. Wasn't too many rules to keep track of. Just keep adding explorers was like the constant thing. I don't know.
Depending on who I play as, I might change my mind.
Good point. That's a good point. Okay, back to Raylemo's comment. I just finished my first and likely last level 6 France true solo with the Beast of the Jungle, Sharp Fangs behind the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I started out just terrible with Fangs and saw it as an underpowered spirit. But once I lost a few times to France level 2, everyone keeps talking about France level 2.
Well, I mean, like we said, at level 2, they're already at half of their difficulty.
Yeah. But once I lost a few times to France level 2, which, let's be honest, France comes out of the gate hard with their special rules.
Yep.
I realized mobility and adaptability was key. Those rogue groups of explorers need to go right away, or else you have towns springing up everywhere.
Yep.
The loss condition never really crept up on me, but instead often dropped like a hammer any game where I neglected to handle builds. I'd be reaching for 4 towns and only have 3 left. Oh, ugh. Those losses helped dial in a few things. Once I started playing Fang's tracks in round 1, you go top track.
Yes.
2, bottom, 3 bottom. Order for presence placement, and while grabbing an extra power most turns and being aggressive on the Fang special rule to place presence with bees.
Hey.
Did they also go back in time?
I don't know, man. Maybe people are finally seeing the light with Fang.
I really started to excel. There were games where I would shut France out by turn 5.
Yep.
Getting lucky with some events, 1 damage per beast, sometimes it can be swingy, so it just depends.
I wish we had more of those.
Same. I read a lot of people push top track to get the plant element. I didn't have much success with that. Instead of dipping my toe, claw, in top track when pushing card plays and picking up a few new minor power cards most turns to delay reclaims. Getting that reclaim 1 bottom track spot was such a turning point in these games. I managed to beat France 5 and France 6 back to back, pulling a god tier card. Tiger's Hunting.
That's it. That's your ultimate, baby.
There it is. It paired perfectly with the spirits. Parting thought. Thanks so much for this podcast. Since the pandemic started, I don't play board games with peeps in person, and it's fun hearing you all discuss my favorite board game. I usually do some gardening work on Saturday, and it's become a recent trend to throw on the week's KSP while I battle my own spread of rampant green. Thank you so much, Ray Lemo.
Seriously, thank you so much. I think of you every single time we upload on Saturday now.
Oh, yeah.
And I try to get it published early enough so that you can have time for your gardening. I'm not even kidding.
It is nice to do chores and listen to a podcast.
I dig it.
And honestly, really good thoughts about Fangs. I'm happy it clicked, because maybe sometimes the spirit is you view it as a hindrance or not that strong, but sometimes it does just I can do this. I can be aggressive like you were saying.
I think when it comes to Fangs, there's 2 different kinds of Fangs out there. There's safe, timid Fangs, which is the standard Fangs that I usually see people playing with. Mm-hmm. And then there's aggressive Fangs. I don't think people have a whole lot of experience with aggressive Fangs.
No.
The thing is aggressive Fangs is like an A tier spirit, maybe even S tier spirit. Timid Fangs is B tier, C tier
S
spirit.
A tier spirit. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you saw that game we had.
I can't wait until you eventually do our tier list.
That's right. Anyway, thank you so much, Ray Lemo. It seriously means more than you know.
It means a lot. Thank you so much.
And the fact that we had a well-timed France episode, you're welcome.
Oh, there you
Trying to do our best here.
Who are you playing next?
Scotland. Brendan comes back. Yes,
Brendan's back.
Missed fan. Sorry. Saying, I have really struggled with France. Even just at level 1 seems very hard, and level 2 is brutal. Yeah, fam. Seriously.
Agreed. Yep. If you can get past that point.
If you can survive level 2, you can take on level 6.
I think you're golden.
You can't say that with most adversaries, but you can with France.
I would want to ask Brendan, or have them respond back, who are you playing? I want to know what spirits, because sometimes that changes things too. Maybe try out a Fangs or a Control spirit and see if
that's one of the reasons why we do these surveys.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Brendan is such a person, but maybe to all the people that are fighting adversaries and just can't win, or they don't know in what ways they can get a win, maybe we can get some numbers to help them find a way that they can get access to those wins.
At least get a win. I know it's fun playing random spirits or not always doing counter picks, but if you just want to win and see how to do it.
Right. For me, I like going random after I've had my first victory.
Yeah.
So I will fight and be very careful on finding my first victory. Once I've had my first victory, okay, now I can go random from here on out. Because I know even if I get my butt kicked in those casual games, in my history, in my past, I've done it at least once. Yeah. So I know I can do it.
And you know the strategies and how to beat them. So yeah, I would say try a different spirit if it's not working out.
Right. But you're definitely right though. France is just I'm mostly all here at level 2. Great.
Difficulty 5. Enigma87 says, France is an adversary that feels like all the difficulty comes in the first 2 levels. This has been such a theme.
Yep.
And the loss condition. For me, the difference between difficulty 2 and 6 feels nominal compared to all the other adversaries.
It really does, seriously.
As a general strategy for France, I think that Blight is more often the correct choice for level 2 escalation. Interesting.
Honestly, depending on how many towns you haven't been able to kill,
I
feel it. I even talked about that before.
If you're running out of towns.
Yes, both are your loss condition, but sometimes one is just significantly worse than the other.
And I think it was nice for us where you could destroy that added town in the fast. So
and if you're not playing with a blight card, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Also true. You also need to be comfortable with a blighted island. Level 5 makes it almost impossible to stop with blight removal because you need to remove 3 blight per player.
Mm-hmm.
Miss, by far, has been my strongest spirit against France. Doing one...
I told you! I told you all!
Enigma!
Nobody listens except Enigma!
Enigma!
I love you.
Doing 1 damage to everything in one land easily deals with the double explorers.
Yeah.
The second trick is that Miss can exploit just leaving 1 damaged town in a bunch of lands to completely negate the double explorer.
Mm-hmm.
When you eventually get an explorer on a damaged town land, you can wipe out the town along with the explorer in the slow phase.
Right.
That's true, geez. The downside is you need to keep towns on the board, which can trigger the loss condition. I say then go for cities.
Sure.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I like to pair Miss with any control character so I can push more explorers into Miss lands.
Foreboding Shadows would be perfect here.
Oh,
that
that's
synergistically works perfect for you.
My current preference is Many Minds. Oh. The more I play the spirit, the more convinced that it is very much an S tier spirit.
That's nice.
Hey, no, we were liking when Enigma was saying, remember the Mist comment? Remember what they said about Mist?
Yes.
Go back to the good. Go back to the good. Fear's good.
Yes, Fear's great.
Different folks, different strokes.
That's right.
All right. River is another natural counter to France. Wash away plus your innate mostly negates all the extra explorers.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you do get unlucky and your kill land comes up twice in quick succession, before you hit that level 3 innate, you lose.
Yeah.
So that is something to keep in mind. Spirits, I do not like against France. Lightning.
Really?
Oh.
Let's hear it.
Enigma, what's going on? Lightning either needs River or Green to fix energy problems to continually use Raging Storm.
That's true.
Good points.
That's true.
Good points.
Yeah, when those moments of reloading and you're like, I don't have lots of energy.
It costs 3 energy and lightning is poor.
Right.
Another spirit? Bodan, bringer of dreams and nightmares. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Needs ocean pairing in order to avoid having too many towns and losing. Quick thought, ocean plus anyone? Really good. It also can be troublesome to deal with inland cities. Ooh.
Yeah.
But one thing you can take away from all I've said is that dealing with explorers is the key to defeating France.
Seriously, at first it doesn't seem like it, but the first time you see multiple explorers turn into multiple towns, you're like,
oh no.
Oh.
This is how I lose.
Yeah. That is how they kill me.
Yeah.
It's very true. I love the various spirits there represented by Enigma.
Yeah,
I'm loving the commentary.
Enigma, I like what you said about Mist, because again, that was like voted not so good, but I agree. I think it can be very good. And good points that Lightning needs help. Yes, they are fast spirits. Yes, they can do 1 damage each invader, but Lightning has downturns unless you're reclaim looping. And if you're doing that, you're probably not getting that much energy.
Right.
So Lightning can burn you or help you win the game. Depends.
Right.
Good points all around.
Oh, I like this name.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember this name because I totally would have because of how exotic it is. Hizoja.
Ooh, is this a first comment from Hizoja?
Hizoja. That's cool.
I like it.
Pandemonium Lightning deserves some love against France, in my opinion.
Oh.
1. Shatter Homesteads is still able to destroy towns, which is very important against France.
True.
2. Raging Storm still overcosted, but has more use against the double explorers that France adds.
Okay.
Very true. 3. With Harbingers of Lightning, it finally makes sense to push the Hans into built-up lands.
True.
And 4. Strife adding powers are always nice with Slave Rebellion.
I'm surprised Pandemonium Lightning didn't get more love.
I was thinking about that after episode 36. I actually was kind of surprised I didn't see them at least in the honorable mentions.
Yeah, maybe because, I don't know, again, aspects aren't played as often, or
maybe
people just think of base Lightning.
Sure, and like you said, everyone has access to base Lightning. Not everyone does have access to Pandemonium Lightning.
Yeah.
I mean, they did okay. They got 14% of the votes.
They got some votes.
Yeah. So there's some people that agree with you. But yeah, those are really good points. I was actually thinking that myself. I was like, well, when I think of France, I think that Strife is going to be very good.
Yes.
And when I think Strife Spitter, I think Madness Shadows. I think Trickster, and I think Pandemonium Lightning.
Yeah.
And so I was like, Pandemonium Lightning still can destroy towns just like that with Shattered Homesteads. They do lose Thundering Destruction, which, it's okay because it's being replaced by Fear, really good Fear. I mean, you can get 11 Fear with that one power.
Insane.
It's insane. And you can get a ton of Strife.
And if you are, like they said, using those Dahan with Harbinger's Lightning, you can still take out cities, have the Dahan do it.
Yeah, I dig it. And I dig your name. Okay.
Cool name. Niku114 says, I'm a bit new to Spirit Island, so it's likely... Welcome.
It's a great game.
Welcome to the community. Welcome to the game. Thank you for commenting.
That's right.
Bit new to Spirit Island, so it's likely I don't play this as well as I could have.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
No worries.
Don't worry about it. I played Rampant Green against high-level France.
Great choice.
With 3 other players, and surprisingly, it went poorly.
Oh. Well, 3 other players. I'm sure you did great.
And it depends on your team makeup and what they're doing. It was my first time playing green.
Oh, that's fine. First time playing a Spirit going up against France. I mean, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
That's really hard.
But the others in my group loved it and that it had its build and ravage prevention.
Yes, seriously.
I got really overwhelmed in a game against France as it got to the point that I had to use a couple presents each turn to stop build, so there's constantly losing presents. I expected France to be easier as Rampant Green, but I'm much better with Control or Fear Spirit, so maybe I'm just not used to a spirit like Rampant Green.
Could be, and stopping bad guy ravages and builds is something Green can do, but you also have Fear and you have Control as well. It can be fun to examine fields choked with growth for the control that it gives you. Sure, it's not going to be as controlling as other spirits out there, but Green does in fact have fingers in pretty much every pie out there.
Every pie.
You can build any kind of strategy off of a certain thing. Off of Fear, definitely. Off of damage? Yes. Off of prevention? Yep. Defense? Yep. Blight removal? Yep. Control? Yep. So green is very flexible. It's true that you'll feel the temptation to go ahead and prevent stuff constantly and you'll be pulling presents all the time. But honestly, it's okay to take a hit because even if you die, you can still come back from it.
Exactly.
So it's okay.
This was a first game, and that's a lot. This is a newer player.
You have much of my respects for playing a very difficult adversary as France with a brand new spirit that you've never played as before.
I would say, like Ryan's saying, try it again. Focus on the different aspects of the spirit, and I think you can definitely have better results. Keep at it.
Yep. You got this. You got this.
You got this. Look at us.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Who'd have thought?
No, look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Daniel comes in and says, slightly off topic, but we were playing against France without events and we were getting destroyed.
Oh.
Even though we were able to defeat Prussia level 5, Sweden 6, England 5, Habsburg 5 with ease, is it that more difficult without Slave Rebellion?
It helps.
Bruh, yeah, you gotta play with Slave Rebellion. Oh my goodness, playing against France without Slave Rebellion?
Good night.
It's not intended, but
hopefully you listen to our last episode. You can play without events, but still have Slave Rebellion.
Yes, you definitely can. And Daipaka comes in and says, playing France 2+ without events, you should still use your special event.
Oh, okay.
And they mentioned the fact that you can go ahead and still use Slave Rebellion every 3 or 4 turns.
Yep.
But yeah, oh my gosh. I'm just trying to imagine fighting France without Slave Rebellion.
It helped us so much on stage 3.
Oh my gosh.
It literally took out a city, took out towns. Oh, we needed that card.
Yeah, we needed that card. I mean, literally no other adversary. It's like, yeah, they're not balanced until we find yet another way to bring them down. Let's give them their own event card.
To bring them down a notch. Yeah, you need that card.
Slave Rebellion is dope.
I am the Dark Man.
Ooh. This isn't the first time that they've been here.
We meet again. What is that like? Like, you were merely...
Oh, yeah, yes.
You merely adopted the dark.
You merely adopted the dark. I was born and it's molded by it.
Such a good Bane line. Anyway, Dark Man.
I haven't seen that movie in forever, dude.
Oh, I know, the old Batman's. Not old, but like older. Anyway. Darkman says, oof, France, the only adversary I've lost on turn 2.
Whoa. I believe it.
Whoa.
I believe it.
Turn 2?
Yeah.
Bad builds.
Some people can even lose during setup.
Yeah.
On the thematic board.
That's true.
With extra boards.
Yeah.
And it's France.
Yep. Anyway. First game against them, I was just not prepared. event added 2 towns, and then they built
on.
everywhere.
No, the event got towns.
You love events, right? Randomness is fun. One obvious winner here is Trickster. Anything that can interact with Strife, really good.
Sure.
Madness Aspect Shadows was pretty great as well.
Yeah.
I found that this adversary requires more bookkeeping. Interesting. You need to keep track of how many towns they'll build. That's true.
Yep. If you set them aside, I think it's a lot easier.
Yeah, good point. And when Slave Rebellion is coming up, that is something we need. We were like talk about.
Luckily, it's not so bad.
It's just every 4 turns.
Have a 6-sided die and just be like 4,
or
3,
do that.
2, 1.
Yeah.
And if you can't remember to rotate the die, just put the dice on top of the invader deck so you see it all the time.
I've personally chosen to sleeve my events. The Rebellion is in a differently colored sleeve to prevent my brain from overheating. That's
so
good.
There you go. That's another good one.
Though if Fractured Days is in the game, there's a chance you may have to undo that. Then again, I'd imagine even Fracture doesn't want to randomize the position of Slave Rebellion. One of the main benefits of that event is its predictability.
Yep.
Good comment, Darkman. I do like Trickster and some Shadows love as well. Huh?
Yeah.
Madness, adding Strife is always a good thing. They don't add a ton of it, but it's still Strife.
Yeah, I wish it was at a higher rate personally, but it's definitely useful here.
I like the idea of setting towns aside. I think that really helped us out with keeping track of
and then maybe doing that already, but still, just to those who aren't doing that, do it, please.
Definitely do it. It helps with the bookkeeping. But thank you for the comments.
You know, it's funny that Darkman was talking about the predictability of Slave Rebellion and how awesome that is.
Yeah.
Because Pandemonium Heart has something to say about
Pandemonium Heart, welcome back. Welcome back.
Hi. Hello.
Don't worry, everyone. Things are bad right now. But the rebellion will happen in 10 years. In 5 right now, actually.
What? I know this won't top the poll, but I'm going to give a shout out to Fractured Days for its unique interactions with France.
How many votes did Fractured Days get?
They got 4 votes.
Pandemonium was one of them.
Thanks to Visions of a Shifting Future, Fractured can manipulate the event deck by sending the top card of the event deck to the bottom.
True.
This means that it can make the Slave Rebellion happen 1 turn sooner. Since the Stage 3 effect of Slave Rebellion tends to be game winning, this effectively means 1 less turn of fighting off the invaders by itself, which is huge.
Huge.
You do have to be careful about not using this too much, or else you can go too fast and miss the Slave Rebellion at Stage 3. If you accelerate twice, you may have to use Visions a 3rd time in order to manipulate the invader deck to ensure Slave Rebellion lines up with a Stage 3 card, but that may be feasible.
Ooh.
Fractured also has good Dahan manipulation, which of course is really strong to ensure that Slave Rebellion hits. It is at the mercy of the powers it gains to kill towns quickly enough, but Fractured can make enough different powers to work to get by. It's fun to see how its right innate can really shine against its adversary. Oh my word, this was the coolest thing!
Look at Pandemonium going big brain. Big brain.
So cool. I was like, oh!
This is why I know I'm not the best at this game. Because I never thought of that. And I like Fractured.
That is just brilliant.
So smart.
Getting that card to happen sooner. And hey, even if you did miss it, at least you can bring back another stage.
Keep bringing it
to
back.
Delay it.
True.
In a way, so you can help yourself in that regard. Sure, killing towns might be a bit of a chore, but you're going to be power card diving anyway with their gameplay style, so just look for damage there.
I mean, you have your Days That Never Were, you'll have your minor, you can go through the discard, you never know. So, we'll see what happens.
Oh, that was so cool. I remember when I saw that comment, I was like, oh!
Dahan manipulation, how did I not think of that? They can make more Dahan, and then they can move them around.
Yeah, but that event thing, that is just so cool.
That's silly. That's silly.
Oh, that is cool.
That was amazing.
David agrees with them, saying, Fractured Days is one of the best against France for their ability to have multiple Slave Rebellions. We played a game with them with Fractured Days and Trickster, and we had a total of 4 Slave Rebellions and ended up with 28 Dahan on the island in the end. It was crazy.
What?
That sounds awesome.
I love game reports like this.
Yes.
This is so cool to hear. Because I'm like, now I want to try this. This is what I think,
Yep.
I'm Danish too, says.
Hey.
I'm Danish too.
I'll have 2 Danishes, please.
Ooh, those sound yummy.
I'm hungry.
It's too late to eat. The OG team of River and Lightning work very well against France.
Yes.
River feeds Lightning endless energy for Raging Storm.
Very much needed energy. And Raging Storm is a lot better here.
Exactly. And Lightning makes River fast to get ahead of those invaders. Between them, they easily have enough Dahan mobility to take advantage of Slave Rebellion.
Yep.
This might be one of the best pairings. I know we had a really good pairing.
It's very synergistic. It's simple, but it's very I scratch your back, you scratch mine. River getting more Dahan out there too.
Harbingers of Lightning, where they can move Dahan around.
Get fear,
get energy, make River fast. River has a lot of slow control. Yeah. This is, I know, like 2 low complexities and 2 maybe spirits you played and kind of like moved on, moved past.
Yeah, but have you seen River conglomerate like 5 or 6 explorers into one spot? Bam! Raging Stormed.
Yeah.
Oh,
this might be one of the best pairings against France and maybe in the game. Lightning and River.
Have you tried foreboding fangs?
I'm not saying the best, but it is a very good pairing.
No, I'm just being silly.
It's one of those peanut butter and jellies that I say. It's just like green, wildfire, river, lightning.
Right. Yep.
So I agree, Danish 2 with your comments.
Mm-hmm. Also, one thing that's really nice, that is a fantastic combo that can happen with just the base game.
Oh, that's
Sure,
true.
France itself doesn't come in the base, but you don't need Jagged Earth to get that combo.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Rob
Rob
comes in and says, I would think that 2 things would make Finder a bit more viable against France.
Okay. I love hearing Finder discussion.
Oh, sure. Number 1, some card draw luck. Grabbing an early high defend card, like Nature's Resilience or Sap the Strength of Multitudes, or your favorite, Domestic Animals Go Berserk.
Love that card.
Okay, who am I kidding? It's my favorite too.
No, it's mine. It's mine. We're like tugging back and forth.
I know.
Mine, no, mine.
And we rip it in half.
Now no one gets it.
Dude, I would like die inside of that habit. Anyway, those defend cards would allow Finder to push explorers into lands that are about to ravage and kill them before the build. Or move Dahan into lands with 2 towns and defend there so that those towns can be destroyed.
Nice.
Failing that, make really judicious use of Offer Passage Between Worlds to make 2 Dahan invulnerable in ravaging lands. That is enough to destroy 2 towns at the least.
Good point.
Second point, lots and lots of Isolate. At least over the first 3 turns of the game, with the Stage 1 cards, you have a 33% chance, then you have a 50% chance of being able to guess where the invaders will explore. Isolate those lands and stop the French from ever putting 2 explorers in those lands.
It's a very good point, and those are pretty good odds, but you can still miss on 50%.
Yep, that's true.
It's true.
Yep.
I do like Offer Passage, can protect the Huns, can fight back, and then, going for early defense is a very smart thing to do.
But life is a gamble, and no one gambles better than Trickster.
Oh.
Trickster is a stealth France killer, since even without Fractured Days, you know exactly when that Slave Rebellion will hit.
Yeah.
Trickster can use its strife-causing and Dahan-pushing powers to put strife and Dahan in the right place or places ahead of the Slave Rebellion, decimating the French towns. Plus, Overenthusiastic Arson is a good card to use on those French lands that have double towns.
Yeah.
It'll automatically destroy one town and possibly, with about a 40% chance, to destroy the second one. That will add Blight, but if the land was going to Blight anyway, then you're still ahead of the game.
Okay.
I like it.
Again, you need to survive to get to those slave rebellions, but you're right, you are using the strife, you are manipulating Dahan, you are blowing up towns, potentially more towns with Blights, but yeah, I see Trickster.
Yep. I feel, like I said, I love using those kind of tactics on a land that was going to Blight anyway.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, well, I already accepted what was going to happen.
Just embrace the Blight.
Right. And so the bad isn't so bad. And if the good happens, and hey, unexpected good things, sweet.
Many Windmills comes back and says, I know Many Windmills.
I know who that is.
Top spirit would be Wildfire.
Yeah.
Those who are burned cannot then build towns.
That's right, baby.
It's like they're never heard from again.
Hey.
Worst spirit, Finder. What?
What?
But Rob!
I like this. This is like one of my favorites versus one of yours.
I know.
Ha! Take that, John.
Many Windmills. What did I do to hurt you? Going to need damage and need it fast, something the spirit greatly lacks.
Yeah.
It's true, you can lose pretty quickly if you're missing out on isolates with Finder.
Right.
And they're just keep building those towns.
If you miss those isolates, you're gonna be like,
Ooh.
dang it!
It's
like gonna suck.
Sometimes in like games, you like auto restart. That's a big game. Like, I missed 2 isolates. Game over. Auto restart. Just gonna redo that.
Just gonna Control-Alt-Delete and restart the program.
Yep. Thank you, Many Windmills, for that comment.
That's right. Also, go Bonfire. Price Egg says, Base River and Lightning were our ticket to make France level 6 winnable, and easily so.
Nice.
This combo again.
Yeah.
The double explorer mechanic that France brings makes Raging Storm twice as valuable as it usually is, and quite often. Early game River has bonus power with Wash Away, as it usually often lacks having enough targets to actually push 3 explorers or towns.
True.
But with France, you can do that quite easily.
Yeah.
Combined with their natural synergy on the support cards, we felt it was an easy win for difficulty 10.
And now a couple people are saying they like this combo.
I dig it. I totally see it for all of those reasons.
You said,
fast control spike from Lightning to River, the necessary, I must stress that, the necessary energy-giving boon to Lightning.
I think that's more important than the fast control.
I agree.
Lightning needs energy.
I agree. But
they're very greedy.
Mm-hmm.
Night Felina comes in and says,
hey!
I know, Night Felina's back.
They got back to us on their Sweden game. Remember when we were talking about that?
Yeah, they did.
They lost.
But thanks for commenting back, Felina.
I'm so glad that they actually...
They did come back. They're like, and I lost.
I was legitimately curious.
We were
so
wondering.
Much.
Yeah, thanks for listening and commenting back.
Also, my condolences.
We all take our L's.
That's right.
I always play two-handed. I've tried solo once, but doing that again would cause me to never play this game again, so they're not a true solo player. That's okay, Night Felina. Neither am I.
No worries.
Feeling helpless because your spirit's limitations never being fixed with terrible card pulls just gets frustrating. You do feel like you're on an island, quite literally. Ocean can't reach land 8! Someone had a solo ocean game and it didn't go well. I love having teams and getting spirits to work together. It just makes the game feel more complete to me.
Yep.
You know, again, different strokes,
totally
different folks. Whatever works for you to enjoy this game.
Totally get it.
Yeah. Some spirits work so well, like my first France combo, while others just feel like I'm playing 2 solo games at the same time.
Right.
However, I find I can't go past level 4 on most adversaries because the brain melt becomes a bit too much. Enough about me, into my game against France. Yes, here we go. I've only played 2 games against France, both at level 4, and both were wins.
Hey!
First win was so easy, I seriously thought I played some of the rules wrong. Second one was a bit more of a grind, and I thought I was going to lose. Gotta love clutch events, fear, and card pulls.
Yeah.
My first game was with Finder Thunderspeaker. Wow, that is a combo. Goodness.
One was bad and one was great.
I wanted to combo those 2 for kicks, and just happened to pick France as my adversary. I read what France did, and saw that after level 3, it's kind of just whatever. So I settled on level 4 being as far as I'd go on my own versus anyone. Getting going with Finder just told them nope whenever they wanted to do anything early, and then Thunderspeaker, I smacked him in the face so fast, they just couldn't do anything.
Right on.
I mostly just monitored my own town pool, quotations, to allow Finder to shuffle the deck around with the towns. It did get a little dicey towards the end. By the end of turn 7, when I was able to group up everything into a single land, then came in Thunderspeaker to drop the nuke.
Yeah.
And it was absurd game ending. This was the reason I wanted to combo these 2. I agree.
Right on.
Didn't think it would lead to such a fast and clean win. Getting Thunderspeaker's best major helped. So yeah, there were some of those other factors that created the perfect game scenarios. You didn't say the best major. I could think of a couple. I could think of like Wrapped in Wings of Sunlight, and there's some other Dahan major ones, but I wonder which one you used. Comment back. I want to hear which one you pulled.
Right.
I just finished my game 2 against France with Mist and Starlight.
Hey,
With Starlight, I found myself focusing on big defensive card plays and pinging for 2 damage when I could to refill my town pool. Yeah, that's a good build. It was my first time using Starlight, and it was kind of a brain burn all on its own.
It can be.
Yeah, Mist was Mist. Early Blight.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, be careful what you say.
What do you mean by that?
Feels bad starts when the first explorer turns into a land. But turn 3, But turn 3 on, Mist comes through.
Okay, there you go.
Keeping everything at 1 HP and just killing what I needed to regain my town pool was the main goal that I had in mind. I actually don't mind city builds here because I would just kill the town and leave the leeching to the city.
Honestly, that's what we did as far as, like, city. You know what? Cool.
Leave it. Don't care. Throw in a few Matrix dodges.
Hey!
And you blight 2 or 3 times early, but you get to keep your presence.
Sure.
Still manageable so long as the Invader deck doesn't screw you over. Which, I mean, happens sometimes. Sometimes you just get unlucky. I found cities got a little out of control towards the end on Starlight's side and Wetlands overall, but found a nice damage combo that lined up with fear cards to create a stage 3 win.
Right on.
And a fear win at the same time. That's always fun. We've had a few of those.
Tandem victories, yeah.
Which was clutch because they were exploring into Wetlands next, and those were my big problem areas all game. Last note, Miss creates some serious fear with France. Towns in every land? 5 fear a turn, you mean? Nice.
Yep.
France might become my main adversary to face from here on out.
Oh.
I'm enjoying the limits on how many towns you can let go and being forced to not ignore small fires. Typically, I play how you guys do and set up a nice 11-town destruction turn, which you guys did it versus Sweden. Can't really do that versus France or you lose.
Right, yeah. England and France are like, no.
But thank you for the comment, Knifelina, and I love hearing the game reports and just hearing some of the synergies.
I love the play-by-plays,
Yeah, some things that don't work out, some of the Starlight builds, and you're right, some of this game is really random on what cards you pull, if it has fire elements, if Wetlands keeps coming up, it sometimes is like this game can just like really won't let you win.
Yeah.
But that's even more rewarding when all of a sudden you do pull out a win. So that's fun. This makes the game great. Thanks for the comment.
Right on. Kind of thinking about what would my go-to adversary be. I know yours is Scotland.
I love Scotland. Yeah. I think it's a difficult adversary, but manageable, and they don't do too much difference.
I don't have go-to adversaries. I have go-to scenarios. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know.
We're all different.
Something to think about.
Definitely.
Hey, T-Ips is back.
T-Ips.
Apologies in advance for this monstrosity of a post. I recommend liquid refreshments between paragraphs to get through all of it. Well, even has the mug emoji.
We got our Snapples and Waters.
Givali! Tink.
L'chaim.
All right. France is probably my least favorite adversary. It has many conditional and fiddly rules, and it's mainly about not losing to the sprawling plantation. This effect comes out swinging right from the get-go, and can make you lose quite fast. On the other hand, if you can manage this, there isn't much else to worry about, and you'll usually win several rounds in advance with the tremendous help of the Slave Rebellion robbing the game of the grandiose climactic showdown. I'm definitely biased towards longer games where your spirit gets to start out weak and grow into a powerhouse to crush invaders. With France, you are doing the exact opposite. You must become capable of handling towns and explorers right away, and then the second Slave Rebellion comes in at the end and steals your glory, and I get to pat the game on the back and say, well done, game, you sure showed them.
Again, it does kind of feel like Brandenburg Prussia, where this game goes quick. Feels fast. France
it does. The pressure's
fast.
on.
Yes, right from the get.
Furthermore, for the adversary that arrives and interacts with the event deck, ironically, I feel they are the most susceptible to swingy events. Partly because you are walking a thin line with the additional loss condition, and partly because some of the Healthy Island or Fear Level 1 events can add extra explorers or towns.
Huge point.
Seriously.
Huge point.
I've seen a lot of complaints about event swinginess, particularly
versus
with
France.
Yeah. Things which normally aren't an issue, but with France, it might just tip the scale.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've found it helpful to focus on preparing for their escalation. I do so by trying to keep one of each land type clear of buildings. That way, you get to decide whether to add a town or a blight, which will help you avoid blight that destroys important presence pieces or towns that push the loss condition too far. As for specific spirits, I like to go back and look at past performances and scores. Though, full disclaimer, some coward in my group may on occasion have redrawn an event against France due to the aforementioned swinginess. But T-Ibs, aren't these mostly solo games?
Oopsie. ... By the way, I like having like the one redraw if you want to on a bad event.
Yeah, I've heard
totally
a lot
fine
of
with
people do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Oh my goodness, this post is so long. I need some liquid refreshment. Much better.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Anyways, here are my rankings. At 76 points, many minds.
I've heard they're an S-tier spirit.
So here. Just sit back, relax, push some of the explorers and skip some of the build actions, and then set the timer for Fear Victory o'clock.
I like that.
Yeah, no one put that way. That makes sense. Stone, also 76 points.
Woof!
How much you guys pull down some of those nice little towns you just made? Nothing else, say no more. Thunder Speaker at 75 points. Here you get to lead the slave rebellion yourself. Vive la résistance!
Quick side note. We also took our tally of points. We got 75 points.
Was it 75?
Yeah.
Right on. Vengeance came in at 73 points. Laughs, inaccessible fast damage, and build prevention.
Very true.
72 points. Mist and Nightmare.
Nightmare? Scoops?
That face you made.
I was honestly shocked. I didn't know Nightmare was on this list. I didn't read this comment before.
I love that combo, that pairing.
Wow. Yeah, but Nightmare.
In your face, people who doubted us.
Whoa!
That's right.
That's me.
Well, I never doubted Mist.
That's true.
Though, to be fair, this combo is quite powerful against any adversary. Yeah, they have the capacity to just grab stupid high fear games.
It's almost like a cheat code.
Oh, it's great. Shifting Memory coming in with 71 points.
Nice.
As per standard memory gameplay, this is more of a ranking of the majors I drew for that particular game than their starting ability to affect bugger all.
I mean, that's true. Just whatever you pull becomes a memory.
Yep. 70 points, Shadows and Ocean.
Woo!
Rumor has it that the French kingdom fell into the hands of the revolution on the same day Base Shadows was involved in their defeat on Spirit Island.
I'm pounding my chest, UTF, Space Shadows!
Right on.
That's a tough win. Well, Ocean helps.
Ocean helps.
Ocean helps.
72 and 64 points were for Starlight. A bit low per Starlight standards. I feel it, though. Starlight can be all over the map.
It makes sense. You could have a high score of 72 or a low score of 64. Yeah.
At 68 points, Spread of Rampant Green. I guess the extra explorers were a bit annoying, but they do keep the additional loss condition nicely in check. That's exactly what I thought,
100%.
too. I figured that the prevention would be nice, but the explorers would be really annoying. 68 points also for Volcano. I mean, if you roast all of your Dahan and blight in the process, you might not get a good high score.
Well, those are how you get score points, is Dahan and no blight.
Yeah. At 17 and 58 points, Keeper and Fangs. Wow, what a disparity. To be fair, this was me and my wife's very first 2 games with both spirits. Okay. And the Adversary. Keeper has since gotten 62 and 71. Fangs found someone more fun to play with.
Okay, good.
There you go. 29 points. Downpour. You know, I haven't heard Downpour at all here.
I haven't heard Downpour at all this episode.
Right. Turns out my strategy of stalling with little fear generation or build prevention didn't lead to victory. Who would have thought?
That's tricky. Yeah, so Downpour has isolates. If you screw those up, like we talked about with Finder, and it kind of takes Downpour a little bit of stalling to get to that.
Defense only, maybe.
And you limit the counterattack to Dahan?
Okay, never mind.
Not great.
Right. Oh, no, it seems most spirits perform quite well, apart from when I have no idea what I'm doing.
Been there before.
Even some spirits that have performed poorly in this poll did quite well. To compensate for the redrawn events, just roll a 6-sided die and add in a loss every time you roll a 1, imagining outpaced removing your entire slow phase. Thumbs up. Love the podcast.
Oh, thank you, TFs.
Thank you so much.
That was great.
Love you too, TFs. That was awesome.
Well done.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm trying to drink my water bottle as loud as physically possible.
Our next comment comes from Under Quarantine. Ooh. We all feel it.
That's all of us.
I've been trying out all the adversaries and had to go against France 3 last night with Shadows, Amorphous, and Trickster.
Amorphous.
I haven't used Shadows since I first got the game. Same with everyone. But Amorphous is a game changer.
Nice.
Their innate has so much more versatility in dealing with the board, and the ability to create sacred sites is much easier. That mobility, Ryan, you've talked about this. And then add Trickster's town removal and Strife helped with the loss condition and kept that in check. I won after only 3 cards into stage level 2 with a full Veer victory. Whoa!
Nice.
I'm not brave enough to face them any harder yet, though. Dude, Under Quarantine?
You got this.
You got this. Stage
Seriously,
2? Veer victory? Woof. Go for it.
Got it.
You got this.
You got this. Aviu says, I'm only commenting on France 6. Keeper needs a major power or two early, as it needs time to spread.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine to sacrifice some of your starting cards, which only becomes strong late game anyway.
True.
Spread of rampant green, trivial. Just play normal. Choke bad builds.
Yep.
Combine green with Keeper, and it's child's play.
Woof.
Fangs. It's doable. Finished with a score of 78 on my try.
Doable? That's a great score.
Took minor powers only and ambushed remaining buildings until good events came up. I wish we had good events, but the events in our game really helped you. And
They helped me out, yep.
I'll take it. Serpent. Maybe with lucky majors, but probably needs help from some other spirits as France 6 overwhelms it quickly otherwise. Thunderspeaker. Trivial with playing normal.
Nice.
And Ocean. Probably doable with the energy you gain from drowning and the right majors.
Good points.
I feel it.
Yeah, I like the frankness into the points. It's just like, these are good spirits, these are not good spirits, and Ocean, who knows?
I dig it.
Yeah.
ZCU comes in and says, I think Fangs and Wildfire are great versus France, because you can get ahead of them pretty well with Explorer control. Though, double Explorer is harder for Fangs, and slow healing Blight is a bit annoying for Wildfire. Definitely agree on both points.
Yeah.
The fast control and the fast damage, especially the fast damage, was so incredibly clutch.
So
but
useful.
Not only is it fast damage, but it's fast damage at decent values. 4 damage, 3 damage, 5 damage, 6 damage. Fast, right before they're about to do something.
Especially
Nips
if you're
it right in the butt.
If you're building that aggressive build like you're saying,
Yeah.
you can do that damage.
Oh, it's great.
Here's what's interesting. At face value or at like first glance, I think this team doesn't sound good. Wildfire Blight, Fangs doesn't like Blight. I think this is going to be a really good team.
Yeah.
Fast damage, they can just stay on their own boards.
Right.
I mean, they don't have to like intermingle, but
Thankfully, they can get in just a bit earlier than you think those problems would come in.
I think so. I think this would be a really good team.
Yeah.
And Wildfire can give bonus damage.
Yeah.
Well, Fangs could use that.
Yeah.
This would be a fun
Certainly
team.
can.
Anyway.
Also, Asphyxiating Smoke just pops a town.
True.
That's nice.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Great team. Speedy Orlac comes in to say, thinking. I feel like saying Wildfire to it all against France because they are great.
Yeah. No, seriously, Wildfire is so great for the speed. We've kind of said that ad nauseum a bit, but yep.
They go on to say, the answer to these invaders being France is basically fast damage. If there is no invaders, they take no action.
Yep. Fast damage, fast control.
Yep, sums it up right there before they get to build their towns.
And that's all I have to say about that.
And that's all, folks. Those are the comments, huh?
That's it. There you go. Thus wraps up our France examination.
So, you said you don't know if you have a favorite adversary. We had a fun time playing against them. Was
I
that
had
more
a lot of fun.
Was it more
France.
because of the spirits, or did you like what France brought to the table?
You know, I did like the choices France gave.
Yeah.
I did like the choices. Usually you don't have that much agency over
An
the
adversary.
incoming,
Yeah.
bad guy stuff. Here I really appreciated that. I felt as if I was able to make my own flow. It was fun having an event that kept coming in because
That
that's
helped
like
out.
this, cavalry arrive kind of thing that I could plan for. And you know I hate events. So.
Having a good one is nice.
Right. You know, for selfish reasons, I wish that Slave Rebellion did not add another event afterwards. But still, knowing that it's coming is really nice.
Really helpful.
So.
These results, again,
Yeah.
pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Just with how it ended up, where some of these heavy hitters, these S-tier spirits, didn't make it into the top 5.
Seriously.
And some of our...
Interesting data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of these, like, quote-unquote B-tier, I don't believe it, spirits that people say, like Fangs or, you know, maybe Wildfire has not gotten as much love. But it's so cool to see these spirits performing well.
I agree.
And Nightmare's still Nightmare.
And Nightmare's still Nightmare.
Fear's fun. And if that's your sort of gameplay, use Nightmare. Good luck doing it.
Yep. I really enjoyed our examination of France, both for the usual reasons of reconnecting with each of our listeners, with the people that are very educated on the game and can offer very salient and poignant advice and yield us some very good numbers that we can look at definitively for all of us, whether we be veterans or whether we be newer players perhaps, because that's always very important to me. But also, I had a lot of fun with France, both with the game that we had had, which was a lot of fun. And also, France was easily our most popular and most voted on adversary that we've ever had.
That's interesting. That wasn't like a Sweden or a Brandenburg in a base game. It was France.
Right. And that just makes me excited and very happy because these adversaries, these community episodes, I feel as if there's more people joining in the discussion, and these episodes covering them are getting longer and longer. And no, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's a good thing.
We're getting comments on them.
That's more people. That's more friends. That's more data. That's more information.
Each one of these episodes, as we both have hundreds of playthroughs between us, we are still learning from these comments.
Oh, so much.
From strategies, game reports, how they use spirits, what cards they use. We are still able to learn, and that is cool to me.
Right.
And that means other people can hear it and learn as well. It's awesome.
It is. And so, with that, I believe any comments that we would say are ones that you've heard already, but suffice it to say that we are incredibly grateful and thankful for each and every one of you.
Blown away.
We have a lot of fun talking about contestants with opinion, and please realize that most of that humor is based in sarcasm. We're not trying to dig on anyone.
All in jest.
It's all in jest, yeah. Speaking of in jest, where are those two Danishes that I want to ingest?
I'm Danish too.
I'm hungry.
Time to eat.
It is time to eat. But it's late, but whatever. Oh well. I'm gonna go find a snack to just crack on.
You got anything for me to eat? Got any of those peanuts?
I got potato wedges.
Oh, yum. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good. All right, y'all. We will catch you guys next time when Scotland
rolls
around. That's right. And if we know that the Scots are next, then that means you know who our finale is. Are you surprised? Are you surprised?
Save the best for last.
Quite literally. All right. Until next time, peace out.
Peace out.
As we mentioned just a moment ago, Scotland is the next adversary that we're taking a look at, as we are rounding the final corner of this adversary series. Just as we have done in the past episodes, we've posted a survey to learn about your opinions on this foe. We want to know who you think is the best for taking them down, as well as who is the worst for trying to fight them. Additionally, we're looking for any and all insight you'd like to contribute as well. If you've been following us for a bit, then none of this comes as a surprise. However, I do have one for you. This is not the only survey we have going. We also have a second survey going on for a fun and interesting topic that's upcoming: the All-Stars. When it comes to the summary of powers, offense, control, fear, defense, and utility, which spirit comes to mind for the best of each of those? If you were to make a 5-player team where each member championed each role respectively, what would that team look like? There are a few ways to interpret this question, and we're curious to see what you all would have to say. You can find the links to both of these surveys in the description of this episode. Let's have some fun with it. Thank you all so much for helping to make these community episodes happen. I hope you're enjoying them as much as we are. Make sure you stick around next week for some real fun. I think you'll really enjoy it. Until that time, this has been Editing Ryan, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.